Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to dive into a scenario that, well, might just feel a little too familiar. You know the drill. You wake up with the absolute best of intentions, promising yourself that today is the day you finally stick to your nutrition plan. But then, somehow, you find yourself standing in front of the refrigerator at 10 p.m., illuminated by that tiny little light, just eating whatever happens to be within arm's reach. We've all been there, right? So today, we're going to break down exactly why this happens, and we're going to use the science of behavioral design to do it.
So let's tackle the big question head-on. Why do diets fail by 10 p.m.? For decades, we've essentially been told that this late-night snacking is a failure of your personal willpower. You know, the idea that you just didn't try hard enough or you didn't want it badly enough. But modern behavioral science tells us a completely different story. This late-night raid, it's absolutely not a failure of discipline. It is a highly predictable response to your environment. Your body is just doing exactly what it was programmed to do based on the cues it's getting from your surroundings.
And that really brings us to a massive paradigm shift. Think about this. Your brain is not designed to win a constant battle against temptation. It's designed to conserve energy. Your brain is literally, constantly, and subconsciously searching for the path of least resistance. What this means in practice is that your physical kitchen, like the actual layout of your pantry or what's sitting out on your counters, is making decisions for you way before your conscious mind ever even gets involved. So if we actually want to change our eating habits, we've got to stop fighting our brains and start changing our spaces.
Okay, let's dive into part 1, the setup. We're going to look at how simply redesigning your physical space can dramatically reduce hunger without any extreme dieting. The foundation of a better setup is this brilliant concept called friction inversion. It's exactly what it sounds like, reversing the path of least resistance. Researchers have found time and time again that visibility and convenience heavily influence what we consume. It's just human nature. If a highly processed snack is sitting right in front of you, the friction to eat it is basically zero. Your brain just goes, hey, easy calories. So, friction inversion means deliberately adding steps to access the junk food while completely removing all the barriers to healthy, high-protein foods.
Picture this. You walk into your kitchen after a super long, exhausting day. If the very first thing you see is a box of cookies sitting on the counter, while your healthy Greek yogurt is, buried behind yesterday's leftovers way down in the bottom drawer of the fridge, guess who wins? Convenience. Convenience literally wins every time. To fix this, you've got to put those highly processed snacks into opaque, totally inconvenient containers on the highest shelf. Out of sight, out of mind, and just genuinely hard to reach. At the exact same time, you put your protein-rich foods front and center, right at eye level in the fridge. You're making the healthy choice the absolute easiest choice available.
Yeah, what's really fascinating here is a psychological phenomenon known as the Delboeuf illusion. It shows how your eyes subconsciously influence your appetite way more than you probably realize. It's proof that we don't just eat with our stomachs, we actually eat with our eyes first. The visual context you create can literally alter your brain's perception of how much food you are actually getting.
Think of it like this. If you take the exact same portion of food and put it on 2 different plates, the visual signals change completely. Put it on an enormous plate, and the food looks lost, tiny, and frankly, kind of disappointing. Your brain immediately registers scarcity. But take that exact same amount of food and put it on a slightly smaller plate, and suddenly, it looks like a generous, abundant feast. Objectively, absolutely nothing about the food itself changed, but the visual signals from that smaller plate heavily influence your satisfaction. It just goes to show how small environmental cues, quietly but powerfully, affect our daily eating behavior.
All right, let's transition to part 2, the meal. This is where we get into the biology and the sequencing of how you actually consume your food and drinks.
Our first biological hack is the pre-meal water ritual. Honestly, it sounds almost too simple to be effective, but try this. Before your next meal, drink half a liter of water, and then just wait a few minutes before you start eating. Here's the science of why this works. Your stomach isn't just an empty storage bag, it's a sensory organ lined with stretch receptors. By arriving at a meal slightly hydrated, you've naturally activated those stretch receptors, which naturally reduces the total volume of food you feel driven to eat. Plus, our bodies frequently mistake thirst for hunger. Adding this simple pause ensures you aren't mistaking basic dehydration for a massive food craving.
Next up is something we call the fiber shield. Most people focus entirely on exactly what they eat, but the order in which you eat it matters just as much. If you start your meal with vegetables or a salad before moving on to the main course, you are doing your metabolism a huge favor. Eating fiber first physically slows down your digestion. That creates a much more gradual, steady release of glucose into your bloodstream. By preventing those really dramatic blood sugar spikes, you also completely avoid the inevitable energy crash that follows. And that crash is exactly what causes your brain to start screaming for quick, sugary calories just 2 hours later. And hey, speaking of metabolism, let's talk about the thermic effect of food. This is basically the energy your body actually requires to digest the macronutrients you eat, and this effect is highest for protein. Now, this isn't some magic trick, but the reality is that consistently eating more protein requires your body to expend way more energy during digestion compared to carbs or fats. It keeps you fuller for significantly longer, all while slightly increasing your daily energy expenditure. Win-win, right? So, the absolutely crucial point here is that when a mid-afternoon craving hits, your decision-making abilities tend to deteriorate rapidly. You need a rule in place before the craving even happens. Enter the protein-first rule. When hunger strikes between meals, commit to eating a protein-first option. Have some Greek yogurt, a boiled egg, cottage cheese, lean meat, or a protein shake. Then, and this is key, wait exactly 10 minutes. Fast carbohydrates give you a super quick hit but incredibly weak satiety. Protein does the exact opposite. You might actually still want a snack after those 10 minutes, but you'll be making that decision with a much, much calmer appetite. Here is a super fun, highly effective addition to your meals, the thermogenic spice upgrade. Certain spices, particularly chili peppers, that contain a compound called capsaicin, can produce a modest increase in energy expenditure and really enhance your overall meal satisfaction. Now, obviously, sprinkling some chili flakes on your dinner isn't going to out-train a completely bad diet, but behavioral design is all about stacking these small advantages. A little more satiety here, a slightly slower eating pace there, a little more flavor without relying on heavy sauces. These tiny upgrades compound into massive results over time. Moving on to part 3, the boundary. We're focusing on the kitchen after sunset, which is honestly the most dangerous time for cravings. To combat this late-night danger zone, you need to implement the kitchen closure ritual. This is a super realistic, step-by-step sequence. After dinner, step 1, clean the kitchen. Step 2, put away all the leftovers immediately. Step 3, turn off the brightest overhead lights to completely change the ambiance. And finally, step 4, go brush your teeth. This sequence isn't just about doing your daily chores. It creates an incredibly powerful psychological boundary. It sends a definitive, clear signal to your brain that the eating window for the day is officially closed. Once you make this routine automatic, avoiding late-night snacking requires almost zero willpower. And this brilliantly illustrates our core philosophy for this explainer. Environment shapes behavior, behavior shapes habits, and habits shape outcomes. Listen, if you are struggling with your nutrition, your metabolism isn't broken. Your hunger isn't a sign of weakness or a lack of character. Your body is simply and logically responding to the environmental signals it's receiving every single day. If you change those signals by redesigning your physical space and your daily routines, the outcomes you want will naturally follow.
So I want to leave you with a challenge. Which one habit will you implement today? Please don't try to completely overhaul your life by doing all 7 of these things at once. Just pick one. Maybe it's the pre-meal water ritual, or maybe it's just moving those cookies off the counter. Remember, lasting transformation rarely comes from radical overnight changes. It comes from small actions repeated consistently. The absolute healthiest people aren't the ones white-knuckling their way through life with immense discipline. No. They are the ones who deliberately design an environment where discipline simply becomes unnecessary. So take a really good look at your kitchen right now. Who's really in control, you or your setup?